Elite real estate mogul tries to demolish school. What teacher does changed everything. Maya stood in front of her history class, the faded maps of yesteryear clinging to the walls like whispers of stories waiting to be told. The morning sun streamed through the tall windows, casting a golden hue over the worn wooden desks. But today, the air was thick with tension. The news had broken like a thunderclap. Max Darnell, the city's richest real estate mogul, had set his sights on her old, beloved school, planning to replace it with a high-rise luxury apartment complex. Shiny apartments for the elite, built on the bones of history. Fear twisted in Maya's stomach. The Beacon Hill High School, a centuries-old landmark, was more than just brick and mortar. It was a haven for kids from every corner of the city, a place where dreams were nurtured amidst the chaos of life. And now it was under threat. Amongst the overwhelming dread, a glint of curiosity sparked when she discovered an old diary tucked away in the hollow wall of her classroom. Curious to the bone, she pried it open. The ink was faded, the pages yellowed, but the secrets they held breathed life into the dusty past. Tales of struggles, protests, and hidden treasures danced through her imagination. Could these stories hold the key to saving her school? As she read deeper, a chilling connection to Darnell emerged. Knew the world of finance and underhanded deals inside out. Maya's heart raced. This wasn't just about history anymore. It was about the future of her students. She began rallying the community, each plea echoing through the heart of the city. Neighbors, parents, and students united, their voices rising like a hopeful song against the looming threat. "We can't let him do this," they shouted, the urgency tightening around Maya like a warm embrace, yet also a suffocating grip. But the pressure mounted. Just when she felt ready to confront Darnell, armed with the diary's secrets, it vanished without a trace. Panic washed over her. What if someone found out? What if it put her students in danger? She could feel the weight of the decision dragging her down. Recovering the diary might mean exposing herself. Her quiet life as an educator could unravel in an instant. Yet, how could she stand by while Darnell's shadow loomed ever closer? Each moment felt like a ticking clock, a reminder that the fight was far from over, but every step forward felt hazardous. Her confidence wavered. Was she really making an impact? Could she gamble the safety of her students for a chance to expose the mogul? Maya stood at a crossroads, her heart pounding as uncertainty wrapped around her like a storm cloud. The echoes of her students filled her mind, their laughter, their dreams, and their future hanging precariously in the balance. The community was with her, but was she enough? Antes de continuarmos com essa história incrível, preciso te fazer alerta importante. Muitos inscritos têm relatado que o YouTube removeu suas inscrições sem aviso. Dá só uma conferida rápida no botão vermelho aí embaixo para garantir que você ainda está inscrito no canal. Não quero que você perca nenhum conteúdo exclusivo que vem por aí. E já que você está aí, deixa aquele like poderoso que me ajuda muito com o algoritmo. E me conta nos comentários de qual cidade você está assistindo. Adoro conhecer cada pessoa incrível que faz parte dessa comunidade. Sua participação faz toda a diferença. Vamos interagir. Maya stood at the edge of a storm, her heart racing with uncertainty. The community had rallied around her, but as the days passed, a gnawing feeling took hold. What if her efforts were futile? What if Darnell was too powerful to oppose? Then an unexpected text message broke the tension, jolting her from her thoughts. It was from her mentor, Mrs. Harper, the retired principal, asking to meet. It sounded urgent. Meeting her outside the old stone school felt surreal, like stepping back in time. The familiar creak of the gate brought a rush of memories. She approached. Mrs. Harper's face was etched with worry, a stark contrast to the vibrant passion she once radiated. "Maya, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice trembling. "It's about Max Darnell." Maya's breath caught. "What about him?" Mrs. Harper hesitated, glancing around as if the shadows were listening. "He's not just a businessman. He's got connections. Dangerous ones. I didn't want to believe it, but I learned he's involved in something much deeper. Organized crime, Maya." Shock twisted in Maya's gut like a knife. "No, that can't be true. He's just a mogul." "No, think about it. He's been buying up properties across the city, but not just for profit, to gain control. He's after something more than money, something that ties to the very foundation of this school." Before Maya could process the revelation, a loud crash resonated from the school basement, followed by a shout. Instinct kicked in. She sprinted toward the noise, adrenaline surging through her veins. As she descended the stairs, a cold chill filled the air. The flickering light bulb overhead cast eerie shadows, and dread pooled in her stomach. She reached the bottom and froze. Her heart hammered painfully against her ribcage. There in the dim light stood Darnell, a figure looming over a group of kids. Students were crowded around an old wall, their hands stained with dust and rubble. They had been doing something. Digging? What had they uncovered? "Maya," one of her students, Ellie, shouted, panic in her voice. "We found something! But he won't let." "It's mine now," Darnell sneered, brandishing a crowbar. The glint of metal dug into Maya's skin, a chill racing down her spine. "Maya, we have to get out of here!" another student urged, fear etched on their faces. Then it hit her. A horrible realization. Darnell wasn't just after the school. He was after what lay beneath it. The diary's whispers danced in her mind. Had the stories led them to something valuable? Something worth fighting for? A series of sirens blared from outside, sending Darnell into a panic. In that instant, everything shifted. He turned, eyes wide with fury, and in one swift movement, he swung the crowbar in desperation, striking the wall. It cracked, sending fragments flying. But it wasn't just the wall that crumbled. A hidden compartment opened, revealing documents, photos, ancient artifacts. Maya couldn't see clearly amidst the chaos, but she felt it. The air shifted. Something monumental was about to happen. Darnell's gaze twisted with rage and fear as he realized what he had done. The students gasped, eyes wide with astonishment. Maya stepped forward, her voice steady and fierce. "We won't let you take this away." The world around her seemed to pause, the tension palpable. Darnell's expression morphed from anger to a chilling calm, as if a new plan was forming behind his eyes. In that moment, Maya realized that the battle had escalated. It was about more than a school. It was about a legacy, a fight against darkness that threatened to swallow everything they had. And the deeper she delved, the more dangerous the fight would become. The stakes weren't just high, they were life and death. With her heart pounding, she stared Darnell down, a fierce resolve igniting within her. "You can't scare us away." And then, just before everything could unravel further, a loud crash echoed from above, shaking the foundation once more. The ceiling began to tremble, fallen dust swirling in the air like a warning. A new threat loomed, both above and below. What had they unearthed? It felt like the earth itself held its breath, waiting for Maya's next move as the world around her began to crumble. Maya stood frozen as the tension in the basement thickened. Darnell's eyes flickered with fear mixed with anger, and as the ceiling continued to tremble, uncertainty snaked its way into her mind. Then, suddenly, right before her, a deafening crack sounded, and the wall gave way with a roar, sending dust and debris flying. The air turned heavy, thick with adrenaline and the smell of ancient wood. "Run!" she shouted, her voice slicing through the chaos as pieces of plaster fell around them. The students scrambled toward the stairs, but Maya stayed put, her gaze glued to the enormous crack that had split open the wall. What was hidden inside? Darnell's expression twisted into one of utter rage and desperation. "Get back!" he bellowed, swinging the crowbar wildly. "This is mine, all of it." Maya felt her heart pound like a war drum. "What are you hiding, Darnell?" she demanded, her voice steady despite the terror swallowing her. "Why do you want this school?" Just as Darnell's eyes narrowed, the dust began to settle, revealing shapes in the rubble, old photographs, papers, and a wooden box, all buried beneath layers of time. Maya inched closer, her heart racing with an instinct that clawed at her. "Leave it!" Darnell shouted, lashing out with the crowbar again. But it was too late. With a final crash, the box gleamed through the debris, tiny engravings catching the dim light. Desperation ignited a fire within her. She reached out and pulled the box toward her. But in that moment, everything changed. Maya felt a force tugging at her, pulling memories from the corners of her mind. She opened the box, and as she looked inside, her breath caught in her throat. The contents were shocking: a necklace, rings, and photos of people she recognized. Faces of her relatives, people from her past, people she had never met. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. This wasn't just any treasure, it was a legacy, a familial past hidden in the bones of her school. "Maya," a voice broke through, shaky and uncertain. It was Ellie, wide-eyed and pale. "What is that?" Darnell's eyes darted from the box to Maya, and for a split second they locked gazes. Then, in a shocking revelation, he spat out, "You think you're so special? That's not just any family heirloom. It's stolen. It belongs to me." The words struck like lightning. Stolen? Darnell's connection twisted the very foundation Maya believed in. Grappling with betrayal, her heart raced. "What do you mean, stolen? What does this have to do with your plans?" "Your family, your ancestors were thieves," he snarled, venom dripping from each word. "This school was built on the ruins of their betrayal. I'm here to finish what they started." The air stilled. Maya's mind reeled. Her family? Thieves? Anger and confusion collided within her. But amidst that storm, an icy calm washed over her. So, this is about revenge? More than that. This is about power. Darnell's voice rang with a twisted conviction, revealing layers of a man she thought she knew only as a businessman. "And I will do whatever it takes to reclaim what is mine." Panic surged as the ceiling shook violently, debris raining down. "We need to go," Maya yelled. "Now!" But just as Darnell began to retreat, a loud crash above resonated again, louder this time, as if the entire school was coming down. The urgency heightened, and Maya grabbed the box, clutching it tightly against her chest. "We don't have time for this!" she screamed at Darnell, who was now backing away. But in those final seconds, something sparked in him, a flicker of doubt. With a sharp intake of breath, he hesitated. "You don't know what you've just unleashed," he warned, fear creeping into his voice. And with that, the unexpected weight of history and the fight for the future hung in the air, leaving Maya gasping for answers. As Darnell turned and fled into the chaos, she was left standing at the precipice of a revelation that would change everything. What had she unleashed? What was now at stake? Her heart raced as she looked back at her students, their eyes wide with fear and anticipation. The world felt very different now. As dust swirled around them, one truth echoed in her mind. The battle had just begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. Maya stood frozen, the weight of the wooden box clutched tightly to her chest. Panic danced in the air like a live wire. Darnell had just exposed a truth that felt both foreign and too familiar. Could her family really be connected to the darkness he claimed? The dust settled, but her heart raced. "Get back!" Darnell yelled, sounding less like a mogul now, more like a cornered animal. He was losing control, and that was dangerous. "Now," Maya urged, her eyes darting between her students and the looming figure of Darnell. Fear was palpable, wrapping around them like a thick fog. But something deeper stirred within her, an ember of determination igniting a fire. "We have to get out!" As they turned to flee up the stairs, the ceiling above cracked again, more ferocious this time. A large section collapsed, showering dust and small debris on them. Ellie tripped, and Maya instinctively reached out, pulling her up just as a heavy beam fell where they had just stood. The air howled with the sound of settling dust, blocking out their screams for a heartbeat. "Keep moving," Maya shouted, her voice fierce against the chaos. But as they ascended, something caught her attention. A flash of silver glimmered amidst the rubble. Hesitation clawed at her, but this was more than mere curiosity. It felt like a calling. "No, we have to go," Ellie pleaded, desperation lacing her voice. "Leave it." But the urge to uncover the truth, the real truth, was overwhelming. Maya brushed aside debris and reached for the shimmering object. It was a locket. With trembling hands, she opened it. Inside were more photos. Her own face alongside strangers. A chill raced down her spine. Who were these people? "Maya, please," another student urged as Darnell recovered and lunged toward them. But the pieces had begun to shift inside her mind. Suddenly, the locket felt heavy in her hand, like it was pressing memories to the surface. Voices echoed in her mind, whispers from the diary, stories that had danced around her thoughts. Could it be? Was Darnell right? "Your ancestry is tainted," Darnell hissed, closing the distance, his eyes ablaze. In that moment, the tremors of the building below them intensified, shaking the very ground, sending more particles of dust raining down. Maya gasped, clutching the locket tight. "What if he's telling the truth?" she shot back, turning to face Darnell. "What if the answers we're looking for are deeper than we ever imagined?" Darnell paused, eyes wide with surprise, but uncertainty flickered across his face. Before she could say another word, her mentor's voice, Mrs. Harper's, echoed in her head. "You must choose your path wisely." As if triggered by that thought, the walls shuddered again, and then the unexpected happened. The ground beneath Maya trembled violently, and a section of the floor below gave way, creating a gaping void. Screams filled the air, but in an instant, all eyes were drawn to it. From the opening, strange shadows crept upward. It was as if the darkness itself had come alive, swirling and pulsing with past grievances. "No!" Ellie cried. But it was too late. The shadows coiled out like tendrils, reaching for light, dragging everything into the unknown. Maya felt something cold wrap around her ankle, tugging her backward toward the abyss. "Hold on!" she screamed, grabbing a nearby railing. But the pull grew stronger, panic gripping her heart as memories rushed back. Of family secrets, of betrayal whispered behind closed doors. "What are you?" she gasped, realizing the shadows were tied to her past, her lineage, secrets buried deep. Darnell's expression morphed, his smug resolve faltering. "It's not supposed to be like this," he shouted, stepping back as the shadows carved a path to the light. "What did you do?" Maya whispered, her spirit shaken. As the darkness thrashed, desperation morphed into revelation. Maya had unleashed something far greater than she could have imagined. Darnell was no longer just a threat. He was entwined in something that could tear her apart, or unite them all against a history neither understood. The ground continued to tremble, and Maya faced Darnell, fear twisting with defiance. "What's happening? What is this?" The shadows writhed the room, alive with urgency. She felt deep in her bones that whatever came next would reshape their fates. "This isn't over," Darnell roared, his bravado crumbling, and in that instant, the floor beneath them gave way completely, plunging both of them together into the uncertain depths, armed with nothing but the echoes of their entwined legacies. What awaited them below? And just as the darkness consumed them, the last image burned in Maya's mind, the locket swinging wildly before disappearing from sight. Would it hold the key, or was it a spiral into the very heart of their shared enigma? Maya felt a rush of air as the darkness swallowed her and Darnell whole. The world above faded into echoing tremors, replaced by a suffocating silence. Shadows swirled around them, an odd mixture of coldness and warmth wrapping around her like an eerie embrace. It was disorienting. But then, suddenly, the shadows pulled back, revealing a cavernous space filled with flickering lights that danced across the arching walls. It felt as if they had fallen into another world, one steeped in history and secrets. The air was heavy with dust, but it also buzzed with energy, electric and alive. Maya's heart raced. There was no turning back now. "What is this place?" she whispered, trying to catch her breath. Darnell stumbled beside her, still disoriented. His bravado from moments ago was gone, and for the first time, she noticed fear etched on his face. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he muttered, eyes darting, searching for an escape. It was as if he had walked into a trap he had set himself. "Maya?" Ellie's voice broke through the chaos, laced with concern. "What do we do now?" Darnell's expression shifted, a flicker of realization flashing in his eyes. "It can't end like this." His voice lowered, almost to a whisper, as if he were speaking more to himself. Maya turned to Darnell, trying to piece together the sudden shift in their dynamic. "What did you mean earlier, about my family, and the stolen things?" The words hung heavy between them. As if triggered by her question, the shadows began to coalesce again, swirling around with renewed intensity. The light pulsated, illuminating ancient drawings on the walls, symbols she recognized from her studies, intertwined with sketches of her family. "Maya, they're telling a story," Darnell said, voice trembling. "Your family was never the thieves. We were the guardians." "What? No, you said—" she began, confusion knitting her brows. He interrupted, frantically gesturing at the drawings. Your ancestors protected something valuable, something powerful. You thought I was trying to destroy this school? I wanted to protect it. The real thieves are those who want to exploit it. The shadows twisted, almost seeming to react to his words. Maya exchanged glances with Ellie, questions swirling in her head. If all of this is true, why didn't you say anything before? A sly smirk crept back to Darnell's lips, but it was brittle, unsure. Because I didn't know it was you until now. I thought the heirlooms were gone forever. But you are more than just an innocent teacher. You carry the legacy. Then the space began to rumble violently. Bits of rock and earth fell from the ceiling, dust enveloping them anew. But the drawings glowed brighter, as if trying to communicate, pleading for attention. "Maya, we have to!" Darnell shouted over the chaos. But his words were cut short. A shadowy figure emerged from the corner of the cavern. An entity forged from darkness, twisting into an unrecognizable shape. It loomed over them. A guardian or a monster? It was impossible to tell. "Your time has come," it echoed, a voice that seemed to resonate from the very walls themselves. Shock rippled through Maya, grounding her in a newfound realization. "Wait, the legacy! You mean I'm connected to whatever this is?" Darnell's expression darkened, eyes wide. "You have the choice, Maya, to become a guardian or to let it all fall into chaos. But we have to decide, quickly." As the shadow advanced, Maya felt both terror and exhilaration. Everything had changed. Her family's history, Darnell's true intentions, and the stakes had become monumentally high. Could she accept this role so suddenly thrust upon her? And then it hit her like a wave. The locket she had found. It was not just a sentimental piece. It was a key to unlock the past and protect the future. But in that moment, Darnell's hand reached out to her. Was he an ally or a manipulator? "I can help you, Maya," he urged, voice desperate. "Trust me." But as more shadows coiled around them, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything was a setup. She hesitated, heart racing, the pulse of destiny thrumming in her ears. The choice was hers, but would it lead to salvation or destruction? As the darkness closed in, she could almost hear the whispers of her ancestors echoing in her mind. What path would she choose? And was it too late to turn back? Maya felt a rush of air as the darkness swallowed her and Darnell whole. The world above faded, replaced by a suffocating silence. Shadows swirled around them, a mix of coldness and warmth wrapping her tightly. It was disorienting. But then, suddenly, the shadows pulled back, revealing a cavernous space filled with flickering lights dancing across the arching walls. It felt like they had fallen into another realm, steeped in history and buried secrets. The air buzzed with energy. Maya's heart raced. There was no turning back now. "What is this place?" she whispered, catching her breath. Darnell stumbled beside her, his face now a mask of confusion and fear. The bravado he had moments ago was on, replaced by a sense of danger. "Maya?" Ellie's voice broke through the chaos, laced with concern. "What do we do now?" "Maya!" Darnell urged, his own voice trembling as he glanced around. "This isn't right. It can't end like this." "What do you mean?" Maya fired back, adrenaline coursing through her. He gestured at the ancient drawings on the walls. "Your family was never the thieves. They were guardians. Maya's stomach dropped. Guardians? You're saying my family are the treasure was hidden, protected? Darnell's eyes widened with a mix of urgency and desperation. Your ancestors weren't just trying to keep something, they were trying to warn us. Suddenly, the shadows shifted again, twisting in rhythm with Darnell's fervent words. The walls lit up with symbols, illuminating a tangled tapestry of her family's legacy. Maya, listen, he shouted over the rising tension. If we don't act now, everything will fall into chaos. Before she could respond, a shadowy figure emerged, looming over them. It writhed, a creature forged from darkness, both captivating and terrifying. Your time has come, it echoed, its voice a deep rumble that resonated through the cavern. A jolt of dread shot through her. Darnell stepped closer, defiance in his eyes. You think we're afraid of you? He challenged, but the tremor in his voice betrayed him. Maya, we have to, he started, but the creature's gaze turned sharp. Then, without warning, the cavern shook violently. Maya lost her footing, her heart hammering. What's happening? She yelled, scrambling to stand. The shadow twisted, and then it spoke again. The blood of the past binds you. Choose wisely. Maya looked at Darnell, confusion swirling. What does that mean? Before he could answer, images flashed in her mind. Memories she didn't recognize, but felt deeply. Faces from old photographs, pulsing with energy, each one connected to her, tied to a legacy that felt both heroic and dark. Darnell's eyes went wide, panic breaking through. No, he whispered. It can't be. What? What? Maya pressed, fear gripping her throat. It's not just about the school. It's about you, Maya. You're the key. And if you don't embrace it, we're all lost. His face faltered, the facade cracking. She realized he was terrified of her unlocking the truth. Before she could even fathom a response, the ground lurched beneath them. Maya fought for balance, but stumbled again, glancing at Ellie, whose eyes reflected horror. And then something snapped. Darnell lunged forward, grabbing her arm. Maya, we need to pull this together. Trust me. In that moment, she felt the air shift, the shadows swirling faster, reflecting doubt and fear. She was caught between two worlds, clinging to her past while stepping into her future. Maya, Darnell shouted, desperation seeping through. Listen to me. But before she could respond, the looming figure let out a deafening roar. A burst of energy erupted from within, sending waves through the cavern. Light flooded their surroundings, illuminating every dark corner. Maya froze, watching as the light revealed something horrific. Darnell's face contorting, shifting right before her eyes. No, it can't be, she gasped. His form rippled, the shadows engulfing him. But when they receded, it wasn't Darnell standing there any longer. It was a stranger, someone she recognized, but never truly saw. Dad? She breathed, shock crashing over her like a wave. You come home, he whispered, eyes filled with something she couldn't place. Fear, love, betrayal. The cavern shuddered around them, and suddenly, everything clicked. Darnell, her family, the school, everything was interconnected. But now, with this revelation, who could she trust? What had she unleashed, and what did it mean for her future? Her knees buckled. A swirl of confusion and dread enveloped her. With the foundations of her world shaking, she realized nothing would ever be the same again. What lay ahead was uncertain, yet it felt impossibly close. Maya felt a rush of air as the darkness swallowed her, and Darnell whole. The world above faded, replaced by a suffocating silence. Shadows swirled around them, cold, yet strangely warm, enveloping her in a disorienting embrace. All at once the shadows pulled back, revealing a cavernous space filled with flickering lights dancing across arched stone walls. It felt like they had fallen into another realm, thick with history and untold secrets. The air buzzed with a strange energy. Maya's heart raced. It was too late to turn back now. "What is this place?" she whispered, fighting to catch her breath. Darnell stumbled beside her, confusion and fear gripping his face. The confidence he had moments ago vanished, leaving behind a shared sense of dread. "Maya?" Ellie's voice cut through the chaos, fragile yet determined. "What do we do now?" "Maya," Darnell urged, his voice trembling as he scanned the room around them. "This isn't right. It can't end like this." "What do you mean?" Maya shot back, her pulse quickening. His eyes darted to the ancient drawings on the walls. "Your family was never the thieves. They were guardians, protectors of something crucial." Maya's stomach twisted in disbelief. "Guardians? You're saying my family? The treasure was hidden." "The real danger lies in those who want to exploit it." Darnell's voice was urgent, desperate, as if he could feel invisible chains tightening around them. Suddenly, shadows twisted in response to his words, dancing on the walls like dark phantoms. They revealed images, symbols that vibrated with meaning, intricately connected to her family's past. "Maya, listen!" he exclaimed, urgency spilling from every syllable. "If we don't act, everything will spiral into chaos." Before they could strategize, a shadowy figure emerged, towering and menacing. It writhed its form, flickering, as if made from the darkness itself. "Your time has come," it boomed, a voice like rolling thunder that echoed through the cavern's depths. Maya's heart raced, and Darnell stepped closer, a flicker of fear creeping into his bravado. "We're not afraid of you," he challenged, but doubt laced his tone. "Maya, we need to pull this together. Trust me," Darnell shouted, desperation bleeding into his voice. At that moment, the ground shook violently, sending tremors through the cave. "What's happening?" Maya cried, trying to maintain her balance. The figure loomed closer, and shadows coiled around it like a living cloak. "The blood of the past binds you. Choose wisely," it intoned, heavy and authoritative. Maya exchanged glances with Darnell. "What does that even mean?" Before he could speak, images flashed in her mind. Faces she didn't recognize, yet felt an odd connection to, pulsing with energy and urgency. This was no mere coincidence. Her legacy was intertwined with something much greater than herself. Darnell's eyes widened, a spark of panic igniting in them. "It's not just about the school. You're the key, Maya. If you don't embrace your role, everything will be lost." The ground trembled beneath them again, dust swirling. Maya's heart raced with adrenaline and confusion. Could she rise to this challenge? Just then, a loud crash echoed, rocks splintering in a cloud of dust that filled the air. "Maya, we need to move!" shouted Ellie, fear etched on her face. But instead of running, Maya felt something pulling her towards the figure, a magnetic connection that felt like destiny. "What do you want from us?" she shouted, desperation in her voice. The looming shadow shifted, revealing something hidden deep within, a swirling vortex of history, a doorway to the past fighting to break through. Maya clutched Ellie and Darnell's hands, willing them to trust her. "We have to face whatever this is together," she declared, her voice firm and steady. As the shadows surged around them, something clicked within Maya. This was her moment. With a deep breath, She stepped forward, embracing both her heritage and the unknown. The cavern erupted in light and sound as they plunged deeper, consumed by both dread and a new sense of purpose. Maya knew then, the past could not be hidden, nor could it be erased. It needed to be embraced. As the dust settled, amid the swirling shadows, one truth remained. They were about to unravel a history that would change everything. And just like that, everything shifted, leaving them on the brink of a truth they'd yet to understand. Urgent and thrilling. You need to subscribe now to our channel, or you'll miss out on these exclusive stories evolving in real time. Smash that like button right now to feed the algorithm and feel part of this amazing journey. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about what comes next. Your voice matters. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this unfolding saga. Don't wait another second. Only the true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel like this.